Hey everybody, welcome to the Magi Show. I think I got everything going. So I did this stream earlier today and it didn't go the greatest on Facebook. They always have really messed up resolution settings. So I decided, hey, I'll just do the presentation again, but this time on YouTube, and got the chat going. So maybe before I start, I'm just going to share it on Facebook that the show's begun and see if anyone wants to come join the chat. Oh yeah, I can share it right from here, I think. I'm going to try shutting down a couple windows, see if that helps. So far so good. Stream is in orange. Yeah, I hope everyone's having a good night. Alright, just tell everyone I'm going live. I wonder why it's saying that it's coming up orange. Oh, let's do the presentation, see how it goes. If it screws up again, I'll just do it again tomorrow. I sure hope my volume's working okay. I'll just try speaking up a bit. Okay, everyone, the show will begin. Alright, for today's show, we're going to be talking about the ancient X lines. And this is like a theory, you've probably heard it before, about grid lines that go all over the globe, different places that lines up on ancient sites. And there's one really good line that I've seen before that goes pretty much through the center of the Earth, or near the equator, I guess. But Julie Ryder researches some ancient megalith sites in Montana, and she was talking about how she found that they lined up in a line pattern too. And this line pattern actually extends all the way up north to in Canada there, where we have a medicine wheel, like a stone, similar to a Canadian Stonehenge is what some people call it. So it's neat how that line connects from there to there. So I posted some of the information about that on my Facebook page, and a couple of the readers commented that I should keep extending the lines that I've been researching and see what other sites they go to. And also I decided to make one for the Draco Stonehenge that I research all the time. So yeah, that's basically what this show is going to be about, all these different lines going to ancient sites and how they might actually help solve Atlantis. So I don't know, it's a bit of a wild topic. I don't know how exact a lot of this research is. It's all brand new, so take it with a grain of salt, everyone. We'll see what we find here and see what you think of the evidence. Okay, so I guess to start off, I'll just give a quick shout out to Julie's website. It's called MontanaMegaliths.com. And it's Julie Ryder. She does tours there. This is a picture of her website there. And those are the giant megaliths that she has taken tours to see. And then they're the ones that line up. We'll see. Yeah, you can see here that this line that she drew or made a map for. It's pretty awesome. It's got multiple things in here, like medicine wheels, sun wheels, pictographs, caves, vortex. Man, it's pretty incredible. Yeah, so I guess the best way to show this line really is to boot up Google Earth. So I'm going to try booting that up and see if the show can stay stable, and we'll take a look at that. Alright. Yeah, maybe I'll shut this one down just for a bit extra RAM. Okay, everybody, here's the globe. And I guess I'll just move my image down so I'm not as in the way. Alright, here's the globe. And this is where I am in Canada. It's actually further south than where Julie is. She's up here in Montana, which most people probably think Canadians all live up in the north, but it's actually over 1 million of us live further south than a lot of people in the States because our border crosses further south in Ontario. So anyways, for that geography lesson, we'll continue another day. Here we got the Majorville medicine wheel and the sundial medicine wheel. These are like some stone megaliths that the First Nations people have been using for a long time. And I'll draw the line for Julie's research so you can see where it connects. Let's see. Montana line. There we go. So here, this red line that you're seeing on the screen, that's the line that Julie's been researching. Goes through the sites in Montana. I believe they're somewhere around there. Someone will have to zoom in and check that out another time. But it's neat. I don't know if, like, here on this Google Maps, I loaded up all these pictures of ancient sites around the world. And you can see that not only does Julie's line ride the edge of all that, or the mountains, but they also go right next to a lot of ancient sites. And all along here too, there's tons of volcanoes and stuff. I guess I should see if I can put those on the screen for everyone. Oh, they are. Yeah, all these little red dots here, those are earthquakes of different magnitudes. So you can see where the largest earthquakes have hit in history here, or recorded history. And you can also see the volcanoes. So you can see Julie's line here goes on the edge of the west coast with all the mountains and all of the earthquakes and all of the volcanic activity. And the big kicker with the site that I research up north in Canada, it's called the Draco Stonehenge. Here, I'll put it on the map next. Yeah, it's up in this area here. And the big thing with it is it's in Canada's most dormant volcanic and seismic active area. Like, it used to have volcanoes and earthquakes. And that's one of the main theories of why the Draco Stonehenge was built there, was because of this dormant energy is still harnessable. So they built the Draco Stonehenge and were collecting it. The First Nations people have legends about calling it a hotspot, and they collect energy there. Yeah, so that line that goes up north in my area that of research also continues down to Sudbury. And Sudbury, for people not familiar with Canada, has a giant magnetic anomaly. I did a whole show with it with Dan a few months ago. So if you want to jump into the Magi Show archives, I won't get in too much to this video, but there's a massive magnetic anomaly here. And once the line continues down, it's also right next to Dreamer's Rock. And Dreamer's Rock is like a place that the First Nations people have been using for a long time, like the shamans. They would go there and have vision quests and do dreaming things on a rock to communicate with the Creator. And I find it really neat that the red line passes right close to it as well. And depending how wide you want to make this red line too, you could say it goes right over it. Yeah, and then after it continues through the Great Lakes, and you'll notice already this red line is starting to match some of the features of the scratch marks on the bottom of under the water. So I'm thinking it's having some sort of effect on that as well. Yeah, it comes through this way. We've got the Great Lakes copper mines. Ancient people have been coming here for thousands of years, getting the different minerals like gold and copper. The Draco Stonehenge is actually popular for that too, as it's King Solomon's gold mine. Well, some people believe it is. And so the line passes through the Serpent Mounds area. And for people that don't know, it's like there's tons of Serpent Mounds all over this area. It's not just the Ohio Serpent Mound and the one in Canada, but there's pretty much all over where this line goes down. You'll find various henges and ancient stone sites, all matching similar designs. It's like megalithic stone building. Oh yeah, and this line that goes down is also going over a major fault on this side of the coast as well. It's like we got the New Madrid fault that goes from there to there. Some people think it even goes from there to there. But faults usually fall to water. So you can see that the St. Lawrence and then the Mississippi, that's usually where the faults are. Alright, so I guess I'll take a look at Julie's here. You can see it's going over some, what is it, geographical features like Hell Gap. And quite a few other ancient sites it goes right over. You'll notice too that it also ends up close to cities in a lot of cases. So it's like the cities might have been built on more ancient cities, and they were always close to this red line, or the ancients tried to make it as close to the red line as they could. So here we have Houston that's close to Julie's, and the city that's close to mine is New Orleans. And yeah, you can see there's lots of different mounds and megalithic structures all along. Yeah, and just looking at it from above, you can see like the megalithic structure lines pretty much match the red line. The red line matches the mountains on either side, matches volcanic activity and seismic activity. So people are wondering why these places were built where they were. I think there's a pretty good clue here that seismic activity and volcanic activity, even if it's dormant, will still be a spot where the ancients built stuff. Yeah, I guess I'll check the chat. No one's here for YouTube chat. I'll say hi for everyone, in case anyone joins. Hey, everybody. Alright, so, yeah, I guess I should look over a couple more slides before I get too farther. Alright, so here's some, yeah, let's make these full screen. Yeah, so here's some of the maps showing that where the fault lines go. You can see it's funny, this one pretty much matches Julie's line, like to a T, other than it's wavy. I guess we're trying to draw these lines that ancients used and made them straight, but I kind of get the feeling that they didn't care if it was straight. They just followed that fault line. And I just drew a straight line over it and tried to map it that way. Alright, so I guess we've seen everything on that one. Oh yeah, and if people are wondering what the Draco Stonehenge up north by King Solomon's mine there looks like, that's what it looks like from above, the best I could do with a drone. The government actually came in after they finished their studies of the site and took down all the signs and planted trees and tried to hide it from the public. And First Nations people probably don't want a lot of people going there too, so I guess it's for the best the government did that. Just sucks that you can't see it from above very well. Or even when you're on the ground, it's hard to see. Alright, so I guess we're to the anomaly pictures. Okay, if you guys happen to notice, when these two lines, mine and Julie's, come down further south, they converge, and it just so happens that where they converge is the Tropic of Cancer line. And for anyone who doesn't know, I wasn't really sure what the Tropic of Cancer was either, so I got a slide here to explain it. It says the Tropic of Cancer is the circle marking the latitude 23.5 degrees north, and where the sun directly is overhead at noon on June 21st, the beginning of the summer in the northern hemisphere. And the equator is the circle where the sun is directly overhead at noon on the equinoxes. Ah, so that's pretty cool, huh? So it's like a different equinox? I don't know, it's kind of a bit hard to follow, but I'm sure the ancients knew what they were doing when they had these lines set up the way they did. Alright, so, and it's funny, where those two lines converge at the Tropic of Cancer, people are asking what's at the center there. And it just so happens that what's at the center there is an anomaly. And I got a slide for that. Yeah, so here it is. The anomaly where all those three lines converge is a spot where the water heats up really hot, and hurricanes also form there, or intensify there, I should say. And you can see here it's 133, and around it it's cooler. So I guess a lot of people debating if there's a super caldera down there, or if it's just the fault line that's causing it, or whatever it is, something's causing it to warm up. And it's interesting how that anomaly is right where these lines that me and Julie have been researching converge. Right, well, when I was first drawing my line, I was a little bit optimistic, and I thought it went over T Enoch-Titlan, and that's the ancient city underneath Mexico that I believe is Atlantis. So I was a bit optimistic, but it's a little bit of a distance between the line and that city. So there might not quite be a connection there, but it's neat. The distance between this line and Atlantis happens to match the distance on another line of Julie's that we'll see soon. And it almost matches the same description of what Atlantis looks like. So it's like maybe there was two Atlantises. Or maybe many, more than two. Right, so Julie's line crosses crap loads of ancient sites there. I guess there's so many there, it's not really going to be too convincing to people. But it also crosses the Nazca lines. So where it crosses the Nazca lines, I believe, is that further south? Yep, so it crosses the Nazca lines down here. And I put it right in the center of that, the ancient astronaut one. Because I figure that's one of the most popular Nazca lines, so it'd be neat to use that as the measuring point. And if anyone else has any ideas in the chat about if I should move the line a little bit more left or right, depending on where they think it should be, I'm always up for updating this. Ah, there it is, Nazca lines. Yeah, I should have known. Yeah, there was one little issue I had where I had an extra line that came up. Let's see if I can get rid of it. I think I had it under Hill Figure, yeah. Yeah, it is there too, huh? Okay, I just gotta delete this one. Alright, there we go. So anyways, that's where it converges the Nazca lines. And just for a quick view, I'll show you. There's a third line that's been more popular than me and Julie's line that researchers have been looking at for, I guess, decades or even longer. I called it the Mega Line. And it connects with Julie's line right at the Nazca lines. If you're wondering what the Mega Line goes to, it goes to Angkor Wat, the Great Pyramid, these Nazca lines. It goes right through the center of all of them. So that's why I called it the center line or the Mega Line. But I'll put that line back on the screen later. Alright, so after it goes, Julie's line passes the Nazca lines, it goes into parts of South America, even farther, like Argentina. It goes near the Falkland Islands. And that's one thing I noticed with these lines, is they're always going near big islands. So that's another thing you can look for when you're looking for the pattern of these lines, if it is something or not. Alright, so Julie's line keeps going through there, and it does sort of map some of the, or mirror like the features you find under the water. Not only does the line go parallel with mountains, but also the stuff on the bottom of the oceans. You can see here it goes connects to the Antarctic Circle. So I'll get into more information about that as we go a little bit further. And her line converges with my line again here near the Tropic of Capricorn, and there's huge scrape marks on the bottom of the ocean here. So I'm thinking it's neat how the lines match up with the scratch marks. In some cases, not all. Well, this one lines up here, and then this one's here, and this one sort of converges more over here. Oh, there's where it converges. Yeah. So you can see a lot of these scratch lines match. Alright, here's probably the most intense part of this, is when I flipped over the globe, as one of my readers was asking me to do, and extend these lines. It's bam! Mine and Julie's line both match a lot of the sites on the other side of the globe too. It's like mine goes through India and all those spots, and a lot of the ancient temples and everything line right up on it, you can see. And where it matches the tropic line again, that's where we find the most impressive temples. Like, what's the big one here? Yeah, I forget the name of it. I'll have to check the slide here. It's that one that's a little bit harder to pronounce. Yeah, there was just a slide I had going for the different fault lines. So you can see that Julie's line pretty much matches the line exactly for the fault. I don't know if people are going to say they're unrelated still. I guess it's possible. Here's another fault line, and that's where my line connects and goes to the Draco Stonehenge. So you can see that the actual lines for these faults aren't perfectly straight, but they match really close to the straight lines I put over them. Yeah, and then here's in the past, we used to have massive earthquakes along the New Madrid Fault. It's going to destroy the U.S. eventually, but hopefully not in our lifetimes. Yeah, if people are wondering why it would destroy us, so we just built all of our nuclear reactors along the fault here, and we also took out all the oil with fracking, so it's pretty much a worst case cluster disaster. Alright, so yeah, here's the temple that I was looking up, and it's number, yeah, you can see like these lines are matching up on other grids people made. There's my line, goes 15, 16, 17, 18. Julie's line was 21, 25, going up in that direction. Oh yeah, and 15, let's read the name of that famous temple. Oh, there it is. Mohenjo-Daro. So for it to go through that one, that's a pretty big one. I don't know if people are going to say that's unrelated still, but I don't know. I think there's something to it, at least worth looking into. Yeah, and here's the Angkor Wat temple. Where was its location? 22. Alright, so there's 22. See if I can find it on here. Yes, I can't really go too quick with my software here because it'll crash my computer. So much data in there. It's like so many ancient sites that when you map them all, it's just computer overload. Am I even looking at the right spot? No. Alright, so there's Cambodia. I'll put the mega line on to make it easier to find. Ah, there it is. Angkor Wat. Now people are wondering about the shape of Angkor Wat and why I think it matches Atlantis. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Here, Angkor Wat's design is like a giant city inside of an inland lake. So it's like, that's a pretty unique design, no? And then if you check, that purple line, the Great Line, the one people have been researching before me and Julie's line. Oh, there it is. Oh no, it's not that line, it's the other one, the tropic line. It happens to match with the other two lines, and it's close to that Tenochtitlan city I was saying is Atlantis. And it's neat that Angkor Wat temple is a little bit off that red line, and this one is also about the same distance, or approximately, off the red line. And the shape of it happens to be the same. Oh, why do I always have so much trouble finding Mexico on here? Like, should be right on it. Oh, there it is. Tenochtitlan. And for people that don't know about the name of Tenochtitlan, it's like a really ancient name. People have always been debating what it was named from. But the Bible is pretty clear that Cain, when he was banished to Nod, he had to build a city after his son, and he named it Enoch. So Tenochtitlan being here could be a clue as to where Cain was banished in Nod to. I think he was banished to the Draco Stonehenge and then came all the way down to this spot, like a migration, just like the Aztec legend talks about. Okay, so yeah, that's, I guess I should show the slide so people can get an idea of how close Angkor Wat and Atlantis are. Let's see, where do I got it? Ah, here it is. See, that's what Atlantis or Tenochtitlan used to look like before the Spanish destroyed it. They came in and drained all the water and destroyed everything and built Mexico on top of it. That's why Mexico City is still swampy today. Alright, so yeah, that's why I think these grid lines are helping prove where Atlantis was, or at least maybe multiple Atlantises that are similar design like this. Maybe we'll find another grid line that has another Atlantis spot that's in even better spot, matching the description. I don't know, we'll see. The thing with Tenochtitlan too is it's directly across the Strait of Gibraltar, and that's where Plato said it was. So that's one of the main reasons I think also it is. And the road to Bibini is what you have to pass to get to it on that line. So maybe one day I'll add the Atlantis line, but for now we're just going to be talking about mine and Julie's. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah, when I was going over these patterns, it's like maybe I'll get rid of the mega line for now, just so it doesn't look too distracting. Because on the North Pole, how these red lines go makes it look like an eye. And the eye is just looking off to the side. So I'm thinking the way the North Pole is shifting, maybe this is evidence of the path that it used to shift in, or that it's shifting in now. And it's neat too that this Arctic Circle line, I bet you, is the same circumference in the center, if it actually was in the center. And then you find that same thing with the South Pole line too. Is that the pole is right in the center almost, but it's looking off to the side. So we could see that maybe the South Pole used to be, or the magnetic South Pole used to be in a different location, closer to the center here. I don't know, if anyone's an expert when it comes to magnetic North Pole shifts and which directions it goes in, you could take a look at this and comment and see if I'm way off or somewhat close on that theory. Alright, so yeah, I guess there's a lot of other temples, and it follows both of these red lines are following mountains. So that was one of the other slides I wanted to show, just how, like, what a coincidence it would be for all these red lines to always be on mountains. It's like the percentage of Earth's land surface can be divided into different types. 20% covered by snow, land, 20% by mountains, 20% by dry land, 30% by good land, 10% land that has no topsoil. Excuse me. So we can see here that these red lines going over mountains and all these areas so often actually is more evidence, because only 20% of the landmass is mountains. So what are the odds, really? Okay, so I don't know, did I cover all the slides? There was Julie's work. Yeah, I hope everyone checks out Julie's website, montanamegaliths.com. Hope you think about going to visit the site sometime, talk to her about getting a tour. She's always available on Facebook, really a friendly person. And yeah, there was the faults. And that was the other thing, yeah, the Draco Stonehenge is built on the dormant faults, so that'd be evidence. The heat anomaly evidence. The tectonic plates, or whatever you want to call them. Yeah, it's like those lines are so close. I don't know. I guess they're squiggly, but still, I think there's something to it. Yeah, and here's some work by Simon E. Davies. I believe they're on Facebook too, so if you want to check their work out. Sorry I added the Draco Stonehenge onto their work. They didn't originally have that, so you can just imagine that their work doesn't have it. If it's any problem, I'll remove this slide later and add the one that doesn't have that on it. I know it's kind of cruel to add stuff to other people's work without asking them. Okay, so yeah, I think that was it for that. Just showing like these are really popular ancient sites, and these red lines cover quite a bit of them. Definitely not all of them. But when it comes to that center line too, the one people had researched before, it covers a lot of them too, linking them all. But yeah, that's what I wanted to show you guys. Let's add the third line back in and see like where are the spots that all of these different lines combine. And it's like the red, the center, and the tropic line. That's where that really big temple was, the Manjaro one, or however you say that. And another spot where all three lines connect. Here's another triangle. So that would be the spot. Ooh, a lot of ancient sites in there. Yeah, Thailand, Vietnam. Alright, so yeah, another one where all these connect. Oh, that's the equator line. Oh yeah, here is a really good one. You see that the Easter Island location, it's got my line, the Capricorn line, tropic line, and it also has the center line. So that's three of the big ones. When they converge, are all right near Easter Island. Oh yeah, and then here where these lines are converging, it's like you can really see like it's mapping the floor or matching it. Is that the one? Yeah, those lines are matching there. Those lines are matching. The equator line even has a line matching it. Yeah, it's really quite fascinating to see where all these lines converge and how they map on the ocean floor. Yeah, that one not so much. Oh, here is a good one. Ocean floor maps that line. This line, which is maybe that's another line we haven't even mapped yet. Oh yeah, this line maps that. Oh yeah, you can see here's where the line starts following the ocean floors. It's like it's not a perfect match everywhere, but it is in so many spots that it makes me wonder. Yeah, and just how many islands too, like the southern French islands. It's not just the Easter Island that these lines go over. There's other ones. Yeah, I'm just checking to see if there's anything else that I missed from these. Oh, here's one where the center line really matches the scratch mark on the bottom, right? Holy, matches it all the way around almost. Oh, here's more scratch lines, or I probably already looked at that one, just upside down. Okay, well you get the idea, and if you want to make your own version of Google Earth. It's all free software, so you guys can put these maps together yourself. I taught myself in one day how to use it and how to map all these lines, so it can't be that difficult. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, if you want to post in the comments if you think this is something, or maybe these lines are just coincidence. It's like I'm always up for hearing both sides of the debate. I just don't like hearing people repeat everything that I've said. Yeah, it's amazing how many of these ancient sites match up. Oh yeah, I was going to show you guys too. If I can follow this line far enough without it crashing. All the ancient sites up here are like really dense in Northern Europe. But when it comes to the red line, it's like it marks where they all stop. I don't know if that's because there's just too much ice there, people haven't explored and mapped these ancient sites, but it seems a little suspicious that they all just stop right on the line. It's like, there's the line, do not cross. Yeah, and here the carve, the rock art that's on these carvings matches the winged disc symbology that you find in the ancient caves in Europe too. And the people migrating in and out of Iran, the Mesopotamians, they had this style of cave art right when they were beginning. So it's neat that you see that right on the line. Now, people, if you got any other sites that you think that I should mention that are on these lines, or if you have any other lines that you discovered, like, man, sure, let me know. I'd be happy to hear it. Yeah, I try not to go over the England section too much because it'll completely freeze my computer. There's so many ancient sites there. Alright, the last piece of evidence I think I have for this theory is that plate software. See if I can get that going. See how my stream health is. Still decent. Maybe there's people watching. I don't think so. Usually YouTube I get way less viewers than Facebook, but Facebook's recording is just horrible. It's like so low resolution I can barely make it out, so forget that. Okay, so yeah, next I was going to show you that software. I think I have the link on my desktop, so I'll just have to make it visible for a sec. Yep, there she is. Hide all those again. I'm sure you guys don't want to see that. Alright, so this software is kind of neat, and some of the evidence it shows matches exactly what I'm talking about, so that's why I brought it up. Stop the Earth from rotating before I puke. Alright, so we can see a lot of the giant plates you can look at with this software. And it just so happens where a lot of these giant plates are converging is also where that spot is the anomaly, where mine and Julie's lines converge. So I think there's definitely evidence here with these plates. There's a lot of dormant energy that, or even active energy that's in this location. And the Nazca plate, I'm pretty sure one of these lines goes to where, what is it, Easter Island is. So that's where you see that line. Oh yeah, and if you're going to follow the line that I made, what was it? It started up here, went across, down across here. So it's like it's following this plate line. The only thing that's missing is the New Madrid fault line. I guess they don't add it because it's in the same plate. I'm not sure if that's why, but maybe it would just be too obvious. Yeah, so this line keeps going, and it's neat that my line goes through off on sort of in the center and reconnects to where the plate line is on this side. So it's like my line connects that plate to that plate, as if the Antarctic wasn't there. Yeah, and then, let's see, maybe I'll refresh this because it's getting dark and upside down. Alright, so here we got the other lines that me and Julie were researching on this side of the globe. Ah, it went dark again. Hopefully it'll brighten up. But anyways, yeah, so you can see my line is pretty close to about there. We got some plates. So there's definitely a correlation, I think beyond a doubt, that the plates, or these lines are matching the plate lines. And then there would be Julie's, I guess, in this area, going up that way. So, the Asian plate. See if I can brighten this up. Come on. It's always rotating the way I don't want it to. Holy crap. Take a year just to spin the globe. Oh, and it's dark on this side. I don't get this software. If anyone knows how to use it and get it to show the light, it's like, man, annoying. Make half the map dark so you can't see it. But anyways, yeah, so there's the evidence for the plates. And I think that center line, where was that one? Yeah, it was going through Egypt there. So that center line, not so much on the plates. So I don't know, me and Julie's line seemed like they matched the plate lines just a little bit more. Or maybe it's this software is just not showing all the plate lines that center line actually goes through. Alright, so that was it for that software. Let's see how long this stream's been going. Alright, I got this one done in under an hour compared to the Facebook one. Yeah, my computer almost froze just as I said that. Alright, stream health is still good. Guess I'll wrap up the show. Thanks everyone for watching. I guess I'll just read what to summarize what I was going over with this. Maybe I'll put up a slide here while I do. Alright everybody, this was my Ancient X presentation. You can see the Ancient X lines seem to match up with these ancient places. I'm saying ancient way too many times. Yeah, it includes the Montana Megaliths, Yucatan, the Nazca lines, Angkor Wat, and more. And my line crosses over the Draco Stonehenge, Easter Island, Mohenjo-Daro, and more. Both these lines cover the Gulf of Mexico anomaly. It's where they converge. And the ancient X lines may help solve the lost global civilization of Atlantis. And that's because, Angkor Wat and Tenochtitlan are very close to the red line and almost in the same fashion. And they both have the same description or design of being like a giant city in an inland lake. Same shape. What else? And it's Tenochtitlan's directly across from Gibraltar. So I think that helps solve Atlantis, but maybe it's another spot. If anyone else has got a theory, I'd love to hear it. Alright, thanks everyone, and have a good night, and make sure to check out Julie's website, montanamegaliths.com. Alright, thanks. Take care.